Okay, now what I want to do is take a moment here in this video to go ahead and bevel some of this stuff and make it look nice and smooth. Okay, so if I look at some of my reference images, here's a reference image. We can see that the corners here of this thing are beveled, that they're nice and smooth, they're not squarish. If I look at my object right now, we've got these jagged 90-degree edges on the corners, which doesn't look like the object in the image. So let's go ahead and let's fix that. So let's bevel some of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, say for example, this edge right here, that edge right there, basically all these corner edges on the top and on the bottom. So it should be 4 of them. Now I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to Bevel Components. I'm going to give this plenty of rounding. I'll probably go with like 5 or 6 subdivisions, something like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the front view here to roughly guide me here. So if I look at my front view, I could see that a rounding of about this much looks pretty good. Close to a distance of 1, in my case, works out pretty well. So that makes these corners here look much better. I'm going to do the same thing for the front. So basically I'm going to take this edge, and I just selected one edge up here, hold down Alt, middle mouse button, click an edge on the side there, and Softimage is smart enough. Well, it almost got all of them. Pretty close. I'm going to try to select those bottom edges there. Okay, so I've got the bottom there. And it pretty much stops at this point, but that's okay. That I actually wanted to do that. So it's a happy accident. Okay, so I'm going to bevel this. I'm going to give this some rounding, because we know that the front is beveled and has some nice rounding to it. So if we render this out real quick, quick render region, hold down Q on the keyboard and then drag with the left mouse button to do a render region. And you can see we have ourselves a very nice soft bevel there in the front. What I also want to do is I want to take this edge that's right here and this edge that's right here, and I'm going to bevel that as well. Give this a good amount of rounding, something like 6 looks pretty good. Give it some distance. And there we go. That'll make sure that the front panel has a nice bevel to it right there, just like the rest of it. So it kind of matches up and looks a little bit better. Okay, that looks pretty good. Other things that we need to bevel are the insides here. For example, I need to take these edges here, okay, and let's go ahead and let's bevel those. Give that some rounding. About 4 or 5 or 6 subdivisions is good. I'm going to give this plenty of rounding, because in my reference images it looks like it has a lot of rounding on the bottom right there, a lot more than the top, and it does. So about this much looks good to me. I'm going to give it a little bit more rounding here with the subdivisions just to make that nice and smooth. About 10 looks pretty good. Now on the top I'm going to give it a smaller bevel, simply because it appears that that's what we need to do. So let's take these edges, let's bevel that. Let's give this some subdivisions. About 4 or 5 or 6 looks pretty good. And for the angle, I think a distance of 0.5 looks good to me. Gives it a smaller bevel right there, and it looks pretty good. So now that you know how to bevel, go ahead and try beveling other areas or whatnot, and whatever you want for your own projects. Now if I come up here, you're going to notice there's a strange artifact here. So what is causing this little render error right here? It's just not triangulated properly. So to fix this, there's a few ways we can fix this. There's a few techniques I use. Here's a very quick and simple one. Select the polygon in question. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to render region this. And I'm going to save a region render right there. I'm going to come back to it in a moment. I'm going to open up my context menu, and there's a command down here called Turn Polygon Internal Edges. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to bring back my render region. Okay, here's the before, and here's the after. Just by using that command of churning the polygon internal edges, I fixed the problem right there. So again, before has the artifact, the problem, and here's the after. The problem is gone. So using the option to churn polygon internal edges can save you whenever you have a situation like that where the polygons are just rendering out funny and they don't look right. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. We'll meet up in the next video again where we'll continue working on this object. We have a lot more to go.